This episode of Just Some Guardians is brought to you by Audible. If you wander on over to audibletrial.com/justsomeguardians, you can sign up for a 30-day free trial of Audible audiobook downloads. This week's featured book is The Spatula Affair, a psychological thriller about two door-to-door salesmen in Central Florida who are horrified when their usual day-to-day routine of selling desktop joke calendars is turned upside down when they see a married couple running around their house, naked, chasing each other with plastic spatulas. The spankings they witness change their lives forever as they question everything life has taught them. Is that what married life starts off like as? Should plastic spatulas be used instead of wooden spatulas? Why didn't they close the blinds if there were any blinds at all? Why didn't we look away from the window? The audio version of this novel is narrated by Guardian Downcast's Hazelnut, who beautifully captures the suspense of the scenes as door-to-door salesmen go from house to house and wonder if they can ever erase the images of the naked married couple and their spatulas. So head on over to audibletrial.com/justsomeguardians, and you too could be subjected to this Pulitzer Prize winning, eventually, audiobook, and you too will wonder, will I ever be able to sleep again, knowing that my spouse could spontaneously spank me with a spatula?
Bum, bum, bum.
Can't wait I'm going to buy it, man. I'm all about it.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to episode 82 of Just Some Guardians. That is the correct number, and I'm glad that I had said it. The intro song leads us into the show in a very poetic way. Top of the show, Russell's not going to be here with us. Once again, his work has decided to have a meeting at like 11 o'clock at night on a Thursday. If you ask me, I think he's a lying sack of shit.
Totally.
But, you know, that's just the way it goes. I really wish he listened so he'd know. Maybe I should clip that and send it to him.
Sure.
Russell, you're a piece of shit. All right. Well, with me tonight, I have, I lost the button. There it is.
Oh, yeah. The sexy title that I've totally given him, but I totally forgot it right now.
Voluptuous.
Voluptuous. Gunbait 101.
What's up, man?
I am doing wonderful. How are you? But don't answer that because you'll have time to answer that later in the show.
Oh. Okay,
So,
I just
okay.
won't then. Yeah, that's fine.
How are you?
I don't want to answer that till later in the show.
I'm giving you permission now, though.
Oh, sweet. Thank you. Honestly, it's rough. I stubbed my toe earlier today, and I just kind of haven't been the same since, I thought I knew who I was as a person, but, now I'm just kind of questioning everything. Oh, no, does that happen to you?
Yeah. I mean, I've stubbed my toe.
Well, I mean, yeah, but does it make you question everything?
Not that particular incident, but yeah, I've had that question before.
Oh, okay. That's cool. Yeah. So, I mean, that's how I'm doing.
Do you want to talk about it?
I mean, maybe not right here. Maybe this isn't the best way.
Maybe not the best medium.
Yeah,
Okay.
maybe, after the show, do you want to get together and talk?
Sure.
Thanks, man. I really need to get some stuff off my chest.
Okay.
Okay, good.
I'm
glad we had this talk. Just like, last episode, was your way of getting me to talk to you about stuff. I just, I wanted to bring that
you're
around.
going to have to try a lot harder than that. So
You're not wrong.
But what I will talk about, though, is I've had a fantastic week in gaming.
Yeah?
As you may very well know,
Why?
the update to... I'm getting...
Oh, okay.
I'm gonna, the update to Red Dead Online came out.
What's that?
You know very well what that is.
I know.
It is Red Dead Redemption 2.
Oh, yeah, I've heard of that game. Yeah, I enjoyed it. I played it a lot. It was great.
Okay. Yes, we've had some fantastic clips come out of it. As I would just like to say, it's been an amazing adventure, and I really can't wait to get back into it again. So this weekend, my daughter's going off onto a Girl Scout trip. Guess what I'm doing? So
Crying alone at home eating ice cream.
that sounds like vacation.
Do I get another guess?
No,
Hey.
that's it.
All right. Awesome. Well, I think, we bullshitted our way through that.
Yeah.
And so that intro song, I'm bringing it back around 30 seconds after I said I'm bringing it back around. Oh, God, where to even start with this? We have some guests. They have a podcast. And, they talk about stuff and, give good tips and highlights and have a really nice community. And they've done a really good job. And, So coming over from the Outplayd podcast, we've got Lursen, Errick, and Flave. What's up, guys?
Eric's doing the Austin Powers escalator back there behind,
It's the first time I've been on camera, man. I don't know what to do. Just I can't. I'm staring at you guys, and you guys look like you know what you're doing and stuff. And then I stare at me, and I get all scared and stuff. So
you find those old family videos, and you have people acting weird in front of the camera because they don't quite know what
And over here's Uncle Bobby. Yeah.
Sorry. All right. I gotta turn my own camera off. This is fucked up. All right, so moving on.
Please don't. If you're not in the live show, twitch.tv/justsomeguardians, Thursday nights about 11:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You can just go to YouTube now, because that's the thing, remember? We talked about that very intensely last week. I think we brought it up. The final count was 37 times.
You counted.
I did not. I just pulled that number out of my ass. I'm not going to lie to you.
But I confirmed it. So
But it was a prime number, though, so I'm impressed.
That number will give you pink eye.
Okay, here we go. This is the interview part of the show. Okay, guys? Shut up. I mean, until I ask you a question.
Well, this is going to be a weird interview.
No, it'll be fine. I'll just impersonate you guys as we go. It'll be fine.
It's 11:30. I gotta went to bed if you're gonna just do that for me.
I just wanted to look at you guys. I don't know. So, Outplayd. It's a big deal. All right. You guys have a good show. We're not here to talk about that yet. My first question is, how did you all meet? Because you guys are very tight knit in a lot of different ways. You know what I mean?
What? Wait,
Yeah.
what?
oh yeah.
So it was
I saw the
a
video.
singles cruise. We went on a singles cruise.
Swipe left, swipe.
Swipe wipe? What's that?
New app.
Is that those Japanese toilets? What's going on?
No, I guess I'll
Rings the bells.
start. We actually met on a different podcast called Destiny Reset Community.
Everybody knows.
Yeah, Derp. Everyone knows Derp.
Everybody met through Derp. Yeah.
Yeah. So we actually had a sub group we call the BODs, where it was just a group of guys who really wanted to get better at the Crucible and the Trials of Osiris and all that. And we started our own community and started playing Destiny together. And that game will either bring you together and tear your family apart.
Yes, it will.
Sometimes both. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
No, it was. It was a little bit more nuanced in that. I joined up first gaming community I'd ever been a part of, and first thing I did was respond to a post from Lursen asking if anybody wanted to play Trials, and so I jumped in, and 4 years later, doing a podcast with this fucker, and then I don't know, probably 6-8 months later, Errick posted, "Hey, I really want to get better at the Crucible.
Mm-hmm.
Is anybody down?" Yeah, that's our whole goal. jump in. And so, yeah, we started our separate community. It was about 12 of us maybe. And every year we travel the United States and meet up in person. I've been all over, meeting these guys. Yeah.
I didn't know. That's really cool.
Yeah. Yeah. It costs a lot of money. It sucks.
It sucks.
We're worth it, man. Come on.
I met them. It sucks. What was that? Did you guys have a name for that other community or?
Yeah, it's the BODs. At the end of every episode, you hear us say the BOD Community Podcast.
I honestly had no idea what that meant.
And you never will.
Nope. It's an acronym that we don't tell anybody.
Well, not just not what the acronym stands for, but you said it. I was like, that probably means something to them. I have no idea.
Yep. The BODs was that community that we started to get better at playing Destiny. And now we've expanded that to FPS games in general.
It's awesome.
Do you have other, and I don't want to bridge over into the podcast questioning yet, but I mean, do you have other podcasts under that network then? or
yeah.
You can be honest.
This was a moment.
Well,
No.
no.
Okay.
No.
All right.
No, it's just us. Me and Errick used to do an older podcast about Battlefield. But we transitioned to this one, and I really don't want to have to manage a bunch of people. So yeah, it's just gonna be.
I love the honesty.
Yeah, it's just an homage to the group, right? We just wanted to have a way to recognize that this is where we all met, and well, not only where we all met, we didn't really meet at the BOD, but it was definitely an opportunity for us to say, hey, thanks to the guys, because this is. And we hoped it was a bit of an inside joke as well, because we never explain what BOD means. So now you know.
I appreciate it.
Yeah. Well, and it works because, say your show, fails.
Well, the last one did, but that's still kind of painful, man. So,
let's say you have co-hosts that make up
that
meaning.
That's my bad. Sorry. Okay. Different direction here. Let's say your podcast fails, and you got something to fall back on, just the BOD name. You can just go, make another podcast about whatever nonsense you guys want to talk about.
Oh, I thought we were just going to open up a plumbing company.
I mean, you could do that.
I don't want to do plumbing. It's a shit job.
I hate plumbing.
And that's why we keep them around. I swear to God.
If you mess up in plumbing, you have flooded somebody's house. I want a job to where if I mess up, it's fine.
Let's open an animal welfare group where if you mess up, you just have puppies running around.
What? I didn't neuter him properly.
I don't know if that works.
I'm not sure that follows.
Yeah.
Think about it.
Okay. Podcast failing. Dogs having sex.
We're really putting all of our eggs in the podcast basket. All plan B is bad.
Okay, I got it. Let's hope this works. Well, okay, so I know you guys did the Battlefield podcast. So we haven't mentioned what your podcast is yet, but so Outplayed deals with Apex Legends. We've talked about that on the show quite a bit. So what got you guys to decide that was your game to make the show around?
We played it.
Okay.
And
yeah.
we liked it. No, actually, we were a little bit behind. There were like 5 Apex podcasts before us. And so, it came out in February. We didn't start till mid-March, I guess, because we had to make sure that we were all in on it. Mm-hmm. Podcasting is a passion project. You're not doing this to make money or to get famous.
So speak for yourself.
So it's something that we felt that we could be passionate about. And it's actually not about Apex. That's just our first season. We don't know what our second season is going to be about. We didn't want to pigeonhole ourselves in one game like we did with our Battlefield podcast.
So we'll explain that real quick. How your season 1 with, getting better at Apex, like what do you mean by what could happen in season 2?
So the podcast itself is about first-person shooters and getting better at teamwork and building upon that in any game. So a lot of our episodes where we use Apex as a tool to explain things they're really something you can apply to any first-person shooter that you play. You could probably take a lot of the things we're teaching and apply it to Destiny. You could probably take it and apply it to Battlefield. You can take it to whatever game you're playing, because it's just a tactic, like ambushing or clearing a room. I mean, every first-person player game you play, first-person shooter, you have to clear a room because that's just how it works.
Yeah, but I mean, Caustic isn't in Destiny, so
that's true. We do character specific and stuff like that.
But Destiny is pretty caustic.
Hey, takes a sip of beer.
Oh my god! Oh my god! That was so good. Gunbait, I turn it to you.
Oh, thank you, good sir. So I've actually recently become a new listener to your podcast, and I really appreciate how well produced it is. You guys have a great sound, and that's one of the things that when I listen to a podcast, I really appreciate that. One of the things I was going to note, and I didn't know that you guys actually had a background in Destiny. And Errick, your segment on lore, basically it usually comes in at the end of the show, and you're going through and you're just I don't know, you're reading off a snippet or something, but this kind of defeats my question that I had earlier. But being that you came from Destiny, I was wanting to know, because I really appreciate that, because it actually helps you get into the kind of the story of the game that you're currently playing at that point. But I didn't know if you were actually invested in any other types of lore in any other games.
Well, actually, yeah, I was. I was one of those guys that spent all that time going for all the calcified fragments and trying to dig around. When I first started off in Destiny, I guess we're calling it Destiny 1 now. One of my main things was going to every single nook and cranny and taking a look at the world. I mean, that's what I really enjoy going into games for. And so before I started even doing anything in the Crucible, I was kicking around and trying to suss out exactly. Well, first of all, there wasn't a lot of story at the very beginning of Destiny 1. Right?
That's crazy.
What
are you talking about?
So it was out of almost like desperation that I would dig around in the dark corners and go like, surely there's something in the corner here somewhere. And then I got into guys like, right. I mean, somewhere in here, there's an actual cohesively put together story someplace. But then I realized, that was not necessarily what Destiny was all about. But I've always loved that. I've always loved that in any game. Really, is digging into what are the creators of the world actually try to do when they built the world. So for any game that I go into, part of it really is the lore. So like even in our Battlefield podcast, I mean, one could argue that Battlefield games in and of themselves they just don't really rely on any sort of lore. But we did Battlefield 1, and so my entire lore segment at the time was just going through, and I would read sections from people's diaries. I really wanted to provide a flavor for what it was that we were actually doing in game. For me, that enriches the experience. And so even with like a game like Apex, where the lore is really somewhat secondary, even to anything else in the game. Well, so I guess it would be a tertiary, quaternary. I don't know, something. It's way back in the dim recesses of what.
Yeah, those aren't real words.
Nope. Yeah. So
we always think that, but they usually end up being real words that he's.
I'm not going to look it up, but I promise you, those are made up.
Yeah. But that's why that. Yeah. So lore for me is very important because for me it just actually makes the game a lot better. And so if there's anybody else out there when they're listening and they like that segment of the lore, that's great. I really appreciate it. I kind of do the lore segments for myself though, so
No, I actually appreciate it. It's not for yourself. I'm sure your listeners also appreciate it. I do myself, and it's just a nice, little topping at the end of the podcast. I just as I'm going through your backlogs right now, I just enjoy it. It's just this nice little segment that kind of sets you off. So,
and it gets me off,
It does. I've seen it.
Yeah. Okay, well, that wasn't the intended result, but we'll go.
Really knocked his camera.
That was out loud. Totally didn't realize. That's my bad, guys.
Elmer, would you like to?
Yeah. What's up?
Oh, I was just gonna say, would you like to ask them another thing that would further propel this on?
Oh, like a question
Yes.
to like formulate further conversation for this podcast format.
Exactly.
I can check my notes. Hold on. Nope. I'm not seeing anything.
This is a visual bit, and
Yeah. So, actually, no, I do have a question for you guys.
okay.
Have any of you guys stubbed your toe before?
I had a toenail fall off once. Yeah.
Oh, damn.
Yeah. How'd that make you feel?
It still hasn't grown back right. I
Wow.
still feel sad about it. Don't wear sandals.
Yeah. To this day, a
I-
part of you is missing. That's deep. That's deep.
It's true.
Yeah.
It's true.
Yeah.
I dropped 100-pound weight on my toe once. Took 2 years to grow that toenail back. So now you know the deep, dark, dim recess of my my personal life.
Yeah.
So, appreciate that. I'm glad we brought that out.
Me too.
He
Well,
looks like he deals with 100 pounds weight, doesn't he? Like,
Yeah, seriously. I mean, I can't see
He's-
anything from the
yeah.
neck down,
I
but
mean,
I can imagine.
That's really our plan B. Is we're just gonna pimp him out as a male model.
yeah. It's really plan A.5.
8.5.
It's pretty low on the list of priorities, but if we hit rock bottom, it's like, man, what am I going to do if I end up broke and disowned, sitting in a ditch someplace? I know, we'll pimp my best friend out. Hey, let's do that.
Is that new MTV show, Pimp My Friend?
Pimp my
friend.
My friend. Yeah.
Lursen,
Yes.
you haven't answered yet. Have you ever stubbed your toe?
I have stubbed my toe, but more importantly, I did so much running in high school that I had to have surgery on my big toes
Wow.
because I had
Both of them?
ingrown toenails. Yep.
Wow.
Both feet.
How do you run?
I put one foot in front of the other, but quicker than walking.
Huh.
Not much.
No, it sounds like you're doing it wrong.
Apparently, he ballerina dances his way through the finish line.
I was about 20 miles or 15 miles a day, so or
That's dumb.
5-6 years. Yeah, it was real dumb.
Yeah, Lursen
Wow.
Gump.
Damn.
I'm with you, man. I used to do beach running, and yeah, it's a great way to lose your tone.
Beach running.
Mhm.
I don't understand. I sat and played video games.
Yeah. That's just running, which is hard work, but you're just making it more work by running on a beach.
Yeah, I didn't know you could actually run in a beach.
He was guarding the coast. What do you think?
Oh, yeah.
I saw that episode. You were really good. Before we move forward, Fluffy in chat had a really good question. Looking around all of us on the podcast, he was wondering why Errick doesn't have glasses and a beard. Oh. Just hold on, everybody. We're going to wait this out. It's going to be great.
The beard is not part of the Coast Guard uniform.
That's true. We got the
But there
glasses.
you go.
I think he froze as he's trying to make the bit work. This is going to be
Give
great.
it
These
time.
are my reading glasses, boys.
Okay. All right. Things are
All right.
Oh,
All right,
no
now,
beard.
Yes.
Could you imagine if that actually just happened?
I'd shit myself.
Seriously.
I save all that hair from my chest. It's all good. It's all good.
Well, could you just kind of like bend your chest? And
Nope.
Okay, that's fine.
Against Twitch
that's
terms of
family
service.
friendly, right?
Yeah. Well, it's not
Check,
family
please.
friendly, but Twitch. Boy. Okay. Well, Outplayed is a show. You guys should listen to it if you listen to this. Very high quality, which we talked about. One other question, actually. This is on the list that I actually have. The commercials that you guys do, which is brilliant, by the way. Where'd that come from?
That was a holdover from our Battlefield podcast. My best friend, Jeremy, who's basically my brother-in-law. It's my sister's boyfriend. He was on the podcast.
Putting pressure
with
on there.
Yeah, right.
That's what best friends are for, man.
That was his idea for the Battlefield podcast, and we just kind of kept that format, and it turned out that Lursen was fantastic at it as well. So,
yeah, those are amazing. I love those. I kind of sometimes wish the whole show was just commercials, and not so much you guys.
Funny
talking.
you should mention that. We actually are in the process of putting them all onto Bandcamp so that for the listening pleasure. Yeah, we can have a compilation if you can listen to Lursen all the time.
It's true. And all these songs that Flave does and the lore that Errick does, we combined all that into a Bandcamp so you can just listen to it.
What's funny is I edit these things on Sundays, and usually, 2 hours into editing, I'm like, Lursen, do you have an ad? Nope, not yet. I'll come up with something. And 30 minutes later, I've got some genius piece of material in front of me. Yeah.
Some people just work better last minute like that,
It's true.
That's fantastic. Well, yeah, those are amazing, and I love them.
Why, thank you.
So, as everyone knows, if you've listened to the show before, if not, you're this far in. Hi, we're just some guardians. How are you? Thank you. Have you ever stubbed your toe? So, usually how this works when we have guests. Oh, okay. Every week we have a main segment. When we have guests, we let the guests choose the main segment. I'm sure they discussed very intently over many a day, and they actually came up with a wholesome, positive, really good segment. Really pisses me off. So they want to talk about gaming communities, what they are, why they are, how to form them, why they're good, maybe why they're not so good, etc. Man, so where do you guys, was your idea, where do you want to start with this?
Well, if you like what you hear and let us know, you can find us on
I feel like that's the last time that can be funny. Right?
Yeah, right. No. I don't think we're gonna get old. Not gonna get old.
To be fair, I think that's the first time we did it live on the stream.
True. That is true.
The rest was while we were getting ready.
Yeah.
So the next time he does it, we all just have to pretend to laugh because it's the comedy rule of twos.
It's true. If you don't laugh, I'll cry.
Oh, then don't laugh. Damn. Well, let's just start with you guys' community, like when you start, we've done the same thing, but when you start, Discord, you want to make a community, like what are your guys' goals when you start?
Our goal was, actually back up. We didn't want a community. We decided not to do it with our Battlefield podcast because frankly, we didn't want to deal with it. And that's the attitude that we, came into this one with. And, we decided we kind of need some back and forth, just to make the podcast better. Because if you're not hearing anything, you're in a vacuum and you're not going to get better. So that was our initial goal, was just let's talk to people and see what they're thinking. And then we expanded it to, hey, Derp was really good. That Discord was awesome. I made lifelong friends in there. Let's see if we can maybe do that for some other people. And so far it's working out. We haven't had any douchebags yet.
Well,
right.
The very first rule of Outplayed is don't be a dick. So as long as you can follow that guideline, you're welcome in our Discord.
I feel like that's the only rule.
Well, it's pretty much the only rule.
The life rule as well, really.
Yeah.
Well, and that's the secret and dirty underbelly of the community is we really wanted an opportunity for folks to come together in a positive sort of place where they could just be themselves, right? And you didn't have to feel like you had to be a poser. Yeah, sure. We're trying to get better at the game. We're trying to do sort of what we call our, relentless improvement. That's what we preach. But that doesn't just have to restrict itself to gaming, right?
Mm-hmm.
The whole object for coming together as a community is so that you can share your experiences both in real life as well as within the game. And have some things to, somebody else to bounce some ideas off of. I find that a lot of the gaming stereotypes fly in the face of reality in some ways. Like people aren't as nice, according to rumor and suggestion. If you just choose like some like Reddit post or whatever else as a bellwether of whether the gaming community is healthy or supports one another, then you're going to have a very bad idea about gaming in general and gamers. And I also got tired of hearing people yell crap on mic for stuff, and it seemed like there was a better way. And so if there was an opportunity for folks who were like us, kind of tired of hearing a bunch of BS on the mic, who actually wanted to get together and hang out with people who also wanted to get better, also wanted to be able to exchange ideas, also wanted to be able to share experiences, then we wanted to be able to provide that opportunity for them. So it's funny. We didn't want to have a community when we started out, but for me, it's become the most important part of our podcast.
Yeah,
is being able to hang out with folks.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think and to a point you made earlier, about your podcast, where it's not really, news and all that stuff going on. It's just relentless improvement. That feels good to say. I see why you do it. But like, then you just get a bunch of people coming in, and if you, especially with like a podcast community, if they're listening to the show and you have, a certain way that you are, usually the like-minded people are going to come in, and that's how it, forms into a bigger, greater thing. And I think that's super helpful with like your kind of podcast, where like I'm in some Discords that are like news-based shows, and it's just a hodgepodge of people because they're just there for,
news.
Yeah,
right?
News, exactly. And they're like, look at me, but, you go into anywhere else, and they're just, people are like, hey, let's play, let's learn together, let's do this together. I like this thing, I like that thing,
Well, and the focus for us, even when we were doing the Battlefield podcast, was teamwork and squad play. And that was the whole thing. I mean, and we came from, Destiny, where we really learned about trying to do Trials of Osiris together, trying to work together as a team, trying to better ourselves within the context of small team tactics and things like that. Because, you can do this stuff by yourself, but you're not going to be nearly as successful doing it by yourself as you would be if you have a cohesive group that you work with, or guys and gals that you hang out with on the regular. So, a lot of people don't have that opportunity just organically. And so if they could come to us sort of like that we did with Derp, where, you listen to a podcast and you're like, man, those guys are super chill. I'd love to hang out with them. And then you're like, wow, they got a community. Well, if there's a bunch of chill people in that community, then, man, you don't even need to hang out with the podcast host at that point. Now you've got friendships that are independent of the podcast itself. And now people have an opportunity maybe even to branch out and do stuff. Well, kind of like what we did, right? Where we're like, wow, let's take that derp sensibility out into the rest of the world. So I feel like we're kind of continuing on with a lot of the stuff that Aerospace and Sasquatch came. Aerospace. I like that better. Well, anyhow, but Aeronite and Cyber Sasquatch, set the groundwork. I really feel like that's something that we're continuing on, and I hope they I hope they don't feel like we're stealing that shit from them, because that would make me sad.
Yeah, we stole being a good guy from. It was their thing. It was totally their thing. We stole it.
It's a scarce commodity.
Yeah. Your Discord has channels in it? I will not stand for this. Well, Gunbait, actually. Question for you, brother.
Okay.
Yeah. So we just talked to them about, starting their community and how that went. I know, when you were on the Hoot Dog podcast and everything, at first it was mostly just the Discord was just people in the clan. And then as the podcast went, like kind of more people from the community started coming in. Like, how does a thought process like that start? Where you open it up and then like, what are the goals there? Like, how's that feeling?
Well, and to tie it back to how Outplayed started, or how you guys came to be, Hoot Dog, the clan I'm in, actually came from Derp as well.
Who did?
I don't think you did.
No, yeah, you're right.
But it's a good thing that you're not an asshole. So that's. But I'll
have one.
But anyways, okay. Anyways, so we actually diverted off from Derp just because they were absolutely wonderful people, but we became closer friends with the group I was running with. And what ended up happening is we were playing all the time, and it got to a point where, we were up late at night talking. We thought, hey, let's just start a podcast and share our own adventures, and actually talk that over. We started one, and then we realized this is actually a good communication medium to actually help expand the clan and not just be so self-absorbed and all that, but we actually used it as a method as recruiting of, getting people together to play, of all walks of life, and just coming together for the game and having fun.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's a great thing that Hoot Dog has crafted over there, is a super great community. And at first we were a little leery about opening it up because, we had this tight knit group of people, we're all safe and protected. And then we realized, holy crap, Discord, we can actually ban someone if they're being an asshole.
Yes.
So it's like, we were kind of stupid in that, we went for a whole year of just being kind of the same group of people. And I love those guys to death. Guys and girls too. I mean, we accept anybody over there. Anybody really.
They let me in, literally anybody.
But so I just it was a little bit of we were leery at first, and I think I even went out and approached people from like Dames of Destiny, Safe Gamers and stuff like that, and I actually pretty much copied and pasted their guidelines as far as how they conduct themselves, and basically things to read over if people start getting out of hand, which is we've never had a report with Hoot Dog or anything like that. We've never really had to ban anybody. We've always been very fortunate, but it's so far it's been a great experience, and it's expanded our reach as far as allowing people to come together and just have people readily available to play. And we're now in the process of also branching out to other platforms. We just this last year we introduced PC. We now have separate sub voice channels for all that, and different LFG groups for that purpose. And even though we're not an LFG group, so to say, we do provide ways of saying, hey, I'd like to get a raid together tonight, let's get this going and get it scheduled in, and have not an obligated, but a dedicated group of people that are there willing to help. So, but so far, actually reaching out and actually communicating with the public has been quite helpful. Like I said, it was scary at first, kind of, because we didn't know what to expect, what kind of people we would be getting in, but they've all been really, really good people. So,
well, and something that everyone has brought up at some point, at the very base, of the community, you're there to make friends. You want to meet new people, increase your friends list, meet more people. Hopefully this is interesting to other people. But once again, ElmmerFudd, I had no idea like anything communities, gaming stuff like existed for the longest time. I had my friends I played with. We texted each other. Hey, you on tonight? Yeah, let's play. My dog died. Ha ha ha. And then we,
escalated quickly.
Sorry, this is the way it goes, and then, so, a lot of, in the Destiny community and a lot of other places, come from somewhere like Derp or whatever that is in your gaming community. So hopefully it's interesting to other people coming from where I am, starting at nothing. I had no idea what any of this was. When we started the podcast, we opened the Discord just a way for people to like ask a question or something. And the first time, like, someone popped in and was like, hey, and started just asking us questions. And, and then you start to meet that person, then you play with them for the first time. And then another person comes in and another person comes in, and you start opening up channels for different discussions and things. And like watching that grow from nothing when you have no idea what it even is. It's a really awesome experience.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. Like when we were a little bit smaller, I really wanted to try to play with everybody that I could. That was on Xbox, of course. And so I would make a point to do that. And now I'm just like, I ain't got the time. Like, I can't. Like, you guys have fun. I'm glad that we built this space for you. I'm gonna just play with Errick and Lursen from now on. Like, at some point, you just gotta go hands off.
Oh, well, that's the thing. We got to this large community now where they can find each other and start their own small little groups and find their own friends and do their own thing. It's kind of nice.
Well, I knew that we had done a good thing when the conversations didn't have to hinge on something that we had put into the general comments or chat, right? It wasn't like we weren't prompting conversation. It's them just talking to one another and hanging out and having a good time, independent of us. And that to me felt really good, because I knew that when I I wasn't used to doing it. Like you said, Elmer, I was the same kind of position. I wasn't used to having a community, right? So the first time that I reached out on the derp and said, "Hey, man, I'm thinking about getting better at the Crucible, but I'm kind of adrift. I don't know exactly how I want to focus. Anybody else interested in doing that?" And it was Flave that reached out to me and said, "Well, we got this community over here. You want to come join us?" And I was like, I had to think about it. I was like, man, I don't know if I'm all up for that. But I did ask, so I was like, fuck. And so at that point, after that,
as you naturally would, yeah.
Yeah. But no, I mean, I was like, but then once I had done it, I'm thankful. I'm thankful that years ago that I said, yeah, and the guys that I hang out with on the regular now are some of the best friends I've ever had in my entire life. And that's something that I wanted to provide the opportunity for somebody else to have too. Mm-hmm. And so I'm really proud of the stuff that we've done. And I'm glad that guys like you're doing Gun Bait. I'm glad there are communities out there that are spreading the good word that gamers aren't all douchebags, basically. Yeah. Right. That there's an opportunity for folks to hang out and have a good time with one another. And that can be parents, of little kids, parents of older kids. It can be the kids themselves, that there are lots of different ways for folks to have fun together on their own terms. It doesn't have to be the traditional, let's get sweaty and, get wrecked, fool. It doesn't have to be like that.
I'm pretty sure that's not how that's said.
I'm still trying to get hip with all this lingo.
Pretty sure that's not how that said either.
But the good thing is though that there's an opportunity for folks to reach out. And I'm really glad to see that there are a lot more communities like this out there. Because I think as we move into, we're in it. I mean, the future's freaking now, right? Folks have an opportunity to reach out and get together with people who are like minds. And it doesn't matter where they are or what they are doing or what they look like or who they hang out with out there in the rest of the world. So the gaming space has become the new social space. Mm-hmm. It's been that way for a long time. I'm just really glad to see that this is the next kind of evolution of it, that people can make real, actual friends through this medium and have a good time with one another, de-stress. I mean, hell, we've got things like fitness channels in our Discord now, and music channels and stuff. Right. I mean, but you don't have to go, right? I mean, maybe you like the music channel, or maybe you like to hang out in the general chat, or whatever. Right? There's just an opportunity for all different walks of life to hang out with, and that's something I'm really proud that we're helping to build, and within the broader community.
Oh, absolutely.
Well, this conversation broke out today in our Discord, just organically about having a community. And I was like, "Hey, we're doing a podcast on this tonight." but one of the guys, Quesatito, said that communities like Derp and like ours and everything are making positive interactions the new normal. To where, whenever you think of gaming, especially FPSs, you think of toxicity. That's just right off the bat. Mm-hmm. And he was saying that hopefully in the next 5-10 years, the toxicity is something that, is the exception instead of the rule. Mm-hmm. And, I was like, that's not what I meant to do, but cool.
Yeah, here we are. Cool. Well, and that's interesting because I think one of your message earlier, we just talked about rage last week, and it all comes around, that's not what you want to be known for. And then we have these outlets. And I mean, like, when I went down to Guardian Con this last year, like half the people I met are people I've never actually gamed with half these people ever. Never talked face to face, anything. Like, they're just people I met through Discord, and just, you get to know people. I have friends in Germany that I talk to regularly, Britain, Australia, around here, Canada, and it's just crazy, someone that never knew any of this existed until when we opened our Discord. It was like my first time ever using Discord. I had no idea. And so, like, to see that happen, it's just mind blowing. It's crazy.
When did you open your Discord? How long ago was that?
82, like 81 weeks ago.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Quick math. Oh, damn, we missed a few weeks.
And you have a lost episode too.
Damn it.
So
93 weeks ago.
So did you guys? Okay, so I'm gonna turn turn the key around a little bit here. Did you guys set up an actual vision of what you wanted the community to be like, or rules from the get-go, or did it just sort of happen after the fact?
It definitely just sort of happened after the fact, because again, at first it was just like, people come in, they can ask a question, we'll answer it on the show, it'll be fun. That's what I never really did podcasts anything before, so I just listened to podcasts like, we're going to do Discord questions. I was like, oh, it's a place where people ask questions because I'm a moron.
Right.
And then it just, as people came in and started, you'd see the conversations going on. A new game would come out. Everyone's talking about that. Okay, let's make a channel where people can just talk about that game in there, or LFG, or I just want to look at stats for this or that, and as it goes, having to learn how to. Luckily, I don't know if anyone's noticed with our show, there are very few restrictions. So a lot of things that probably happen in other Discords that people would kick you out for. We're pretty lazy, and it just kind of happens. But I'm going to definitely reach a point. But it's just nice to have that. Oh, it's just cool to see space that people come into. They're like, I enjoy being able to be myself here, and you go, shit. I just started that to have people ask questions, and they show up daily and just talk about their life and what's going on, and it's crazy to just watch that grow.
Well, the being yourself thing. We have people who join who are used to other communities, and you can see it in their behavior. Man, not to call anybody out, but they'll come in and they'll be like, looking for people. I've got this many kills. I'm this rank.
Oh,
and
yeah.
Just doesn't matter here, man.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't matter. And they're like, oh, cool. And then they just change from that point,
Right.
Yeah, that's an old Destiny hold-off where people were like, well, I'm this light level, I've got these guns, and I'm a war.
Yep. Gallowhorn required.
Yeah, Gallowhorn required. That's exactly what I was just thinking. Is Gallowhorn required. Or the people that would charge money to Sherpa you through something. I'm like, okay, not exactly why we want to have a community, so we're not going to do that kind of shit. There's some baseline rules that we came up with. We started the community. It was like, hey, don't be a dick. That's one. Don't advertise. That's another one. We don't. We're not here for your marketing pleasure, right? So basically, just be a safe space for folks to come and hang out and have a good time. That's important for us.
Mm-hmm.
So it sounds like you're kind of in the same place of mind. It's kind of come in, be yourself, hang out. Kind of a place to let your hair down a little bit and not be so freaking restricted.
Yeah.
I'm not or let your beard down or whatever it is that you do. Right. So when the reason we brought the whole community topic up for you tonight, because we did actually spend some time thinking about, when you asked us to come on the show, well, what is it? What the hell are we going to talk about? Are we just going to talk about penises or what? I mean, so
I'm down.
That.
Yeah. So, but we figured that would get kind of old after about 5, 10, 15 minutes. So we figured,
every penis gets old eventually, just kind of happens.
It's true.
Is
Some get
there
more shriveled than others.
There's not plastic surgery for your penis, is there?
I feel like that's the only part of your body that doesn't age.
Yeah.
Am I wrong about that?
I never thought about that.
I step on them all the time.
I feel like maybe now I need to do those time lapse things to where I take a picture every day, post it to YouTube. Here's 6 years of penis aging.
As someone who spends a lot of time on YouTube, please. I'll subscribe so fast. I will hit that notification bell. You bet your ass. Well, a little bit on the other side, what can happen with the communities. We've kind of, skirted around it a little bit, but I've noticed this. So I mod in a couple different Discords, and this conversation's actually happened quite a bit, and I figured now would be a good time to kind of, get some more thoughts on it. But, not everyone is a really good person. And, what's the, I don't know, so the conversation we've been having a lot is it's hard to find the borderline between letting someone be themselves and trying to figure out where the line is for each individual person, when you should step in, when you shouldn't step in, who should you have step in, how should you step in, it's just because you're not, actually in charge of anything. It's a free platform. You're all just regular people talking, but when you're modding a community or something, like how do you mod? Like, what's the line? How do you do that? How do you handle that?
Well, I mean, first of all, we grabbed all of the terms from GAC, the Gaming Adventure Club, aka Manny G wrote all the terms for the derp, and he took them with him when he made the GAC. So we took them from him, but basically our rule, don't be a dick, kind of applies to the whole thing. So as long as you're not personally attacking somebody, we really let you do most things. If you're just venting and you want to vent your feelings, do it. But as long as you're not attacking somebody or coming right out and insulting somebody, we also try to stay away from religion and politics, because that's just a good way to start a fight.
And that's what your meme channel's for.
You're right, exactly. Yeah, we did go ahead and, it was funny. One of the guys asked us if he could have a meme channel, and we had to think about that for a little bit, because we knew that needed to be a space where all bets were off, right? If you're gonna have a meme channel, then you're buying into the fact that shit's just gonna get crazy over there. That's what memes are all about. So we had to think about that for a little bit, and I'm glad that we have it, because it's been an area where we've had very little need to try to take anything down over there. We do watch out for, I wouldn't say that we're watching out for SJW type stuff, but we are watching out for people being dickheads to one another. If it's personally directed attacks, then that raises our eyebrows, and we're not going to have any of that. That's going to cause us to immediately go right in there and take that down. But we also want to be fully transparent about it if we're going to do it. So we just recently established some rules for ourselves about how to moderate things properly, so that people can feel safe enough to say what they want to say, but at the same time, other folk can feel safe about being in their environment as well, right? We don't want people to just be spouting off and saying a bunch of crap that aliens. So we'll gently remind folks to sort of tone down on these sort of really, really explicitly racist or anything like that. We don't hold for any of that kind of stuff. So it seems like there's a bare baseline or minimum of common decency and respect that we actually ask from folks, and we really haven't had to intervene. I think the people that want to come into the communities like we've been talking about, they're not going to have a hard time sort of complying with basic rules of human decency. And we've had a couple folks leave the community. I'm not quite clear sometimes why they leave the community. Usually it's the ones who didn't have much to say in the first place. We've had very few people leave the community who actually have been an active part of the community. So that makes me feel good. Like, the things that we're doing are a light enough touch that people feel comfortable enough to stay. And also that the rest of the folks who are in that community are causing problems for others within that same community. There's no hurt feelings. Like, that's what I'm trying to say.
Well, if I may, I think one of the things, the benefits of actually having a podcast the way we do, is you're already kind of informing people of how you're conducting yourself.
Yeah.
And I think you're also, you're putting yourself out there, but also I think when somebody joins in your community, they also just they're taking the initiative to join up with that community and feel like that they belong. And, that's probably one of the reasons why you don't see too many problems, because they know that they're already coming into an establishment that, they also don't want to mess that up as well. And I think that that's something that when you see people on Twitter, what you're seeing is you're seeing pure rage or something like that, where it's being, liked, it's being retweeted because somebody thought it was funny or catchy, and then it blows, it blows up. And I don't think that you get these in that type of instance with the small communities like what we have or whatever. But I think honestly, just people just want to belong, and I think that's the main important part of the goal of a community should be, is make sure that people do belong, and try not to, as you said, just make sure that no one's being offended. Not in this day and age, you're not going to control on who's being offended or whatever.
Oh,
but
absolutely.
You can certainly do your best. I know in the past I've, as you said, you if you talk to someone directly, try to talk them down or at least control it a little bit as far as trying to curtail the situation. I've had to do that in the past where I've just sent them a DM and for instance, somebody said that, this game is cancer as a popular thing that a lot of people like to say for some reason. And I said, hey, buddy, just let you know, this person's parent is, suffering from cancer right now. You may not want to use that phrase. And they're very apologetic and stuff like that. But
well, and I'm glad you brought that up about, places, forums like Twitter and forums like Reddit. A lot of times those aren't actually communities, right? That's people just casting their voices out into the dark and hoping for somebody else to hook into it. Whereas the places, the environments that we're talking about are opportunities for folks to cast that out there, but it's not going out there into the darkness. It's right. It's just going over there to basically like family or within their own tribe. Basically, you're chucking it across the fire over to somebody on the other side of the fire, and you're having a good laugh about it. So and you have an idea when you cast it out there that somebody else is going to respond to you. I think that's something that's lacking in like Reddit or forums like Twitter is you throw that stuff out there and you don't know who the hell is going to respond, right? Whereas within communities like the ones that we've been talking about, when you cast that out there, folks, you're pretty sure somebody's going to respond, and you kind of understand exactly how they're going to respond. And one of the things I'm afraid about, though, is that we sort of just are going to be in our own little world, right? Our own stovepipe little world. We lose sight of the rest of the things out there. So, that's why I feel like the podcast is another inherent. I'm glad you guys do your podcast, and the stuff that we do with our podcast also is we're not alone. Constantly attracting folks in from the outside to help give us some perspective on things as well. Because I don't want to be trapped in the situation where we're just kind of talking at each other. And we're not listening to what else is going on.
Yeah, well,
absolutely.
Me and Errick were in that situation with our last podcast. It was basically just me and Errick.
Yeah, sucked.
I never listened to it, so I'm sure it was.
Nobody did.
It was a great podcast, man, but nobody listened to it. So who the fuck?
Yeah.
No, that's why no one listened to it.
That was our training ground.
If it hasn't crossed my radar, it's probably not worth anyone's time.
Hey, I'm down with that.
If you have a podcast and I have never heard of it, please tell me, because now I feel awful. That's not directed at you. It's directly directed at these guys. I'm sure your show is great. Theirs is not. Okay, we can move forward. Whew, man.
Glad we got that out of the way.
Yeah, me too. I feel like a better person.
I feel like glad you got that off your chest. That's good.
Yeah, thank you. Once again, in the after show, I'll be getting more stuff off my chest. Again, I stubbed my toe earlier, and it was rough.
If you like what you're hearing, let us know.
But, to summarize, basically, gaming communities, awesome. I know there's a lot of people that listen to podcasts that don't join the Discord. If a podcast has a Discord, there's a lot of listeners that don't join it. And I know I've done that with quite a few shows. And once, you cross that threshold, you join, it just opens up a whole new world. You appreciate the show a lot more. So if you're out there listening, you're not in one of these communities, go ahead and just dive in. Trust me, it is so worth it. It'll completely enrich your life.
And they'll be accepting of you. Oh, sorry. I was just going to say they were going to be accepting of you too. And what you put in is what you'll get out of it.
Mm-hmm.
And I might be a little bit biased here, but I feel like the podcast medium, that the person is doing it because they're passionate about whatever they're talking about. Just because there's just no money involved. Like, let's be honest.
Let's be honest.
You lose money.
It's not like you're, a big Fortnite streamer. Like, so if you join a community, it's going to be a community of passion, and it's going to be awesome. Like, almost all. Like, I just haven't had a bad experience with a podcast community. I really haven't.
Every single 3 of them have been great.
Every single 3 of them. That's incredible. Oh my god. All right. Anything else you guys want to touch on with communities before we move forward?
No.
Thanks for letting us spout off, buddy. Appreciate
Absolutely. That was good. That was really good.
Fantastic.
It's wholesome as fuck.
Yeah.
Oh god.
Like fucking apple pie.
That's what we bring. Lursen, that's your cue, buddy.
What do we want to say?
Oh god! Now he doesn't do it.
I was.
Golly, here I thought you guys actually brought apple pie. God, am I let down? I'll tell you what. All right.
I'm sorry.
No, you're good. Let's go over here.
Let's do our emails.
We actually have a couple emails to read off here. First email from one Lazarich the Lich, who also writes our Audible ad reads. So once again, thank you, sir, for writing those. They're incredible every week. I don't know how you do it. You write stuff for almost every show in the Destiny community, and it's very in-depth and well thought out, and I don't know how you do it. Question for y'all. Do you have any memorable collectible / trading card game moments? Sent from my iPhone.
I guess I don't quite. Just any collectibles or like trading card moments, like opening up a. I mean, I've got a whole shelf full of Harry Potter memorabilia.
Gross.
But I don't think I don't know if that answers the question or not.
Oh, do you have a favorite moment? Was there like one you found? You're like, oh my god, I can't believe this is mine now.
No, I paid cash for them, and they showed up at my house.
America.
I don't do real world loot boxes. I don't do digital loot boxes. I don't do real world loot boxes. If I'm going to pay for something, I want the exact thing that I intended to buy.
Really glad I asked you that question.
I mean, you asked all three of us. Ask one of the other two.
Yeah. Hey, Errick, or literally anyone else.
Right.
Memorable collectible / trading card game moments.
I mean, surely you got actual baseball cards. You're old, right?
Fucking hated baseball, man. No. I didn't do the trading card moments. I don't have any. I'm sorry, buddy. I wish I did, because that sounds like it could be a lot of fun. But no, I just I'm a loser, baby.
So I do have a great moment.
Thank God.
Yes.
Redemption.
Yes.
So in middle school, I was hard into Pokemon trading cards.
And you said gross to my Harry Potter shit. Come on now.
Middle school.
He did say hard on.
So
middle school. Yeah.
Well, yeah.
I remember this as my most aggressive, but at the same time being super passive moment.
God, I love it.
I had a Chansey, and it was a holographic Chansey, worth a little bit. I knew it was fine. And this kid had a holographic Charizard on the bus, and I'm like, dude, you want this Chansey? And he's like, I don't know. I was like, it's got an egg pouch. And he's like, I think I'm gonna do it. And I traded him that. That card's worth like $300. The Charizard, yeah. And I was like, you stupid bitch. Exactly. But yeah. So then I went to the mall and sold that card
For $300?
Yeah, it was like 200 something. They didn't give you full value, but yeah.
Still
at the
in middle
time,
school? Hell yeah.
Yeah, right? I bought a Game Boy with it, a Game Boy Color.
See, that's what we're talking about. That is how you answer a question.
Yeah.
Nice.
Well, ask me a question I can answer.
Live an interesting enough life that you can answer more questions. Gun bait.
I'm
Same
sorry, I was responding to your DM. What was the question again?
I want to know what the DM was. These guys suck. Let's ditch them in the podcast fast.
And now you don't need to ask what the DM was. Now you know. Do you have any memorable collectible / trading card game moments?
Trading card game moments?
Yes.
I never partook in any trading card game.
I've got, apparently I'm the trading card person here.
No, I wish we could have done justice to this
Flave.
question, because it actually is a really good question.
Flave, do you want to start a podcast, bud?
About paying for things that you might not get.
Oh, EA plays.
Yeah. I'm married.
I'll tell you what, you send me $20, I'll send you something in the mail.
I don't think you grasp the concept of the trading card games, okay?
I don't think you grasp the concept.
No, listen, all right? You come into my house and disrespect me like this? Next, you're going to lean back in your chair. It's going to squeak. I guarantee.
I also wasn't sure if that was an Italian or Russian accent. So.
You know what? It was the accent.
It's a
anger
Russo-Italian
and
accent.
Oh.
I put my heart on my sleeve for a second, all right? And you know, don't worry about it. It's fine.
All right. Sorry to let that question down, by the way.
It's fine.
It's all right. We all did.
Hey, Laz, I have one for you because I'm not a piece of shit. So, me and my brother, when we were younger, we were really into Magic the Gathering. And he kicked my ass all the time. He's like 5 years older than me, had a job, could afford his own cards. Like, I just kind of, stole what I could. No, I'm just kidding. Mowed lawns, bought a couple packs here and there. And then one day I finally destroyed him. And it felt so good. And he didn't play with me well, he still hasn't played with me since. So yeah, that was a good moment. Finally beating him. My brother does that a lot. We used to wrestle all the time. And he'd win because he was bigger. And then I started hitting the gym in high school and then destroyed him one day. And then he never wanted to wrestle. I'm sensing a pattern here.
What a jerk.
Yeah. Classic bully syndrome, am I right? And then an email from Roses that just says hello. Hi.
Hello.
Hi.
Thank you.
Nice
Hello.
to meet you.
Thank you for the email.
Hello.
Hey.
All right, there we go. It was really good content, guys.
Story time.
All right, now we're going to jump into story time, which is a segment on our show. We go around, we all just tell, a fun gaming story. Doesn't have to do with you actually physically gaming, something involving it, a moment, whatever you want. We get very nostalgic on the show, and it's been a really fun segment to do. And you guys actually are like the first ones that knew about it beforehand. And I feel like you might actually have stories.
Nope.
Okay. That's a 2 for 2. Nice.
Never actually played a game.
Oh, interesting. Okay. Errick, what do you got, bud?
All right. Well, mine's I was digging through, and I didn't want to go through the whole Atari 2600 shit, because that was kind of cool, the whole phase. But I do remember the first time I played Destiny. I guess we're gonna call it Destiny 1 now. First time I went on patrol in the Cosmodrome. This is pretty early in the so-called story. I still love that game, but whatever. First time I went on patrol in the Cosmodrome, I was super low level and was in that area where all of the derelict airplanes were, and I was getting my ass kicked. Right, so I ran into a bunch of the enemies around the cargo planes. I mean, I had no whatever, so I was having a knockdown, kind of drag out fight with all of these things, and then finally finished the fight, and then I saw this guy come pass on a Sparrow, and I was like, "Fucking A, this game is awesome." The guy didn't even stop. Right, he just was cruising, and I was like, "Man, that's another player. That's awesome." And at that point, I knew that I was going to be addicted to this game because, then it got into the whole, I was looking for other people out there in the Cosmodrome. It felt like I was part of a larger community. It brought something to me that not only was I in a pretty awesome game space, but that there were other people out there who were also enjoying the game space. So that's my story. I'm sticking
That's
to
awesome,
it.
man.
I want to point out that this guy's trying to teach people how to be good at FPS games, and he was getting his ass kicked by dregs.
I know, man. Well, that's why that was my.
Exactly. Relentless improvement. It started from the dregs,
That's right.
inspired him to move
Knocked
forward.
down. When you get
Got the
knocked down,
Kells, and now
you
he's
get
working
back
on
up.
real people.
That's right. That's right. I've come so far from my 0.13 KD. It's all.
I'm proud of you, dude.
Thank you, buddy.
Flave, what do you got for me?
All right, so I used to work at a video game store.
Good for you.
it was the best job I've ever had. It was not a GameStop. We carried everything from NES all the way up to current generation. And the best part of the job was the people that would come in, because they were ridiculous. They were mean people that didn't actually exist. I feel like God made them up to come into my store and then killed them immediately after.
This took a turn.
Wow.
Yeah.
Hello, nihilist. All right. Okay.
Go on.
So my favorite person that came in was this like 45-year-old redneck woman, and she goes, "I need help figuring out a game." And I was like, all right. And this was my favorite thing, because it's like trivia, right? You tell me what you know about the game, and I try to come up with it.
Mm-hmm.
And she goes, all right, it's a game where you punch a green donkey in the back of the head. And my mind was immediately blown. So I ran and got all of my coworkers. And so for the next 10 minutes, we tried to figure this out. Turns out the green donkey was Yoshi. The game was Super Mario World. And we had all of our systems hooked up because we had to test games when people traded them in and whatnot. So we popped in a copy of Super Mario World and did confirm that Mario punches Yoshi in the back of the head, and that's what prompts his tongue to come out. Played it for years, never noticed that. Yeah. So that was Green Donkey Punch Lady.
Green.
It's funny. As soon as you said the game where he punches the donkey in the back of the head, I knew exactly what game that was, because when I was a kid, I was playing that game, and I was like, "Why is he punching that Yoshi in the back of the head all the time?"
I feel like it's something very few people notice. I didn't until we, were clued in on the fact.
Yeah.
Cold cocks that donkey right in the back of the head.
Oh my God.
No animals were harmed in the filming of this.
One may call it a donkey punch.
It's a good video.
Don't go to Urban Dictionary.
Nope.
Lursen, do you have one yet?
I sure do, buddy.
Were you lying to me earlier? Did you pull my leg?
I did.
So he was playing a
Unknown to you. Unknown to you. There's about 3 pages of notes for the show in our Dino list.
Yeah, he's actually not lying. We took notes and we prepared, man. That's how seriously we took the invitation to the show.
This?
For this, for this right here, there's notes.
You do realize I don't even have notes, right?
I was making a joke to Flave earlier. Errick doesn't take a shit without notes first.
What's with the hate? Everybody needs to have a step-by-step process. Come on, man.
And a micrometer.
Pressure flow gauge, man. Pressure flow gauge.
My story here is my first King's Fall raid.
You never forget your first.
Yeah, it's true. A bunch of guys posted in Derp. It was like Andy Man and Fugs. They were like, "Hey, we need one for a raid." I'm like, "Yeah, I'll do it. What's a raid?" So they took me in and they would just walk me through it step by step. And we got to that damn jump puzzle, and I was a warlock. And that puzzle was not great for a beginner warlock. Later on, I was super good at it and could do it without falling, but probably 20 minutes of me falling over and over and over again. And that's when I learned that the Derp fan was for me, because not a single person got upset.
Mm-hmm.
Not a single person gave me shit for just failing miserably and holding them all up. And it was really cool. Like, they kept jumping off the map so I could follow them through the jump puzzle, and just that's when I really knew that I wanted to be able to do that for other people. I wanted to learn the game so well that I could take somebody who just started and help them through without being a dick about it. So that's kind of where all this started.
That's awesome. And here you are, a dick. Weird.
I know, right? Turns out I was the other way with it. I got so good that now I'm a dick about it.
So good. Oh my god, gunbait.
Yes. Well, I'm going to regale you in some my recent ventures, if you will.
Yes.
I've been playing a lot of Red Dead, as you may well know.
What's that?
Not this bit again. Anyways, been thoroughly enjoying it, and I just find myself, and this is like kind of an uneventful story, but I just been finding myself like just the other night we were running around. Reeb, Poops, Evil J. I mentioned Poops as another character because that horse
Poops
is
a horse. Is yeah.
But but you, I can't. Was there anybody else with us in that group that particular night?
I don't know which story you're about to tell.
Well, we ended up in Saint Denis.
Is this the first person drive-bys?
First person, I don't even know that story.
Okay, never mind. Continue as you were, sir.
Hold on, hold that close to your pocket. No, but we're just we're making our way out of Saint Denis, and we're kind of hiding out in some houses and stuff. Cops are chasing after us, but we lost our one level and stuff, and we decided to move camp in that area. But there's a massive storm that rolled in.
Oh,
yeah. And Evil J and I were just walking down this swampy bridge, and you guys were off, shooting stuff, and we're just like looking off in the distance and watching the storm roll in, and this lightning bolt just comes down like right in front of us and just explodes. And I didn't even know that. I actually later researched that you can actually get struck by lightning in the game.
I actually didn't know that.
Yes, you can actually be killed by lightning anywhere on the map. If there's lightning that can come in, you can be struck. But the spectacle is just amazing in that game. I know it's only 30 frames per second, and it's on console or whatever, and I so can't wait for it to come out on PC. But I'm just in awe by that game every time I play it, and I'm so glad that this update came out just recently. But and these past few days of just hanging out with you, Reeb, Jay, Russell in the game has just been absolutely fantastic, and I just find myself getting lost, and that was partially my story and partially also a thank you. So it's been amazing.
Wow, that was really nice.
You sweet son of a bitch.
I get it.
Damn, I'm just like I'm crying and I have a boner. It's weird. Much like my wedding night. So, hey guys, I have a story.
Is she still in the room?
You know she's in the room. Okay. She's always in the room. Okay, so last week we talked about rage. I feel it's only fitting that I tell this tale. So I was, Xbox 360 Tekken 4? I think it was Tekken 4. In the campaign, you're going through, everyone's pretty easy until you get to the last boss. I can't remember his name. I should have pulled this up beforehand. But this guy just suddenly, the skill gap went from here just through the roof. He had all these moves that were ridiculous. You couldn't move around. You couldn't jump over them. He had a ground attack that sent a thing forward, and if you jumped, it still hit your toe and your guy fell over. He had one that shot. If you ducked, it still hit you in the head and you fell over. There's nothing you could do to touch this guy. And I spent hours just cussing at the TV. So mad. I actually physically broke 3 controllers trying to beat this guy.
One would be extreme.
I mean, I went to Walmart and got the little clear Mad Cats or whatever. They're way cheaper, so it was okay. But yeah, that was probably the most ragey I've ever been. I punched a hole in the wall. I broke 3 controllers, and I don't know when to stop. But I did eventually beat him, and I was so tired because I just nonstop played. I couldn't even I couldn't celebrate. The second he died, I kind of passed out in my chair. It was like, oh, I made it. Done for. He survived a beach landing of the Titanic as it sank, which wouldn't happen because a lot of people died. But yeah, so, that was one of the most rage I've ever expelled out of my body. And there we go. That's my story. All right, cool. Well, I think let me go through the notes that I don't have. Do you guys want to check your notes? Did we hit everything?
We're good. Yeah.
You guys, we went through all 3 of your pages.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Here and there.
We only got about 2.5,
but,
but
you know,
we'll call it good. Yeah.
Okay. I mean, I don't want you guys, feeling like you weren't fulfilled when you were here.
No, I got what I needed from you, buddy.
I get that a lot.
So,
Well, all right. I think that's the show there, guys. Lursen, take it away.
Hey, if you like what you hear, let us know. You can find us by going to outplayd.com. There is no E in Outplayd.
It's almost like
instead of actually giving out our actual Twitters, I wanted to use this time to thank the community members that we have that are our officers. So we don't actually do all of the stuff by ourselves. We have Damo Knows, who does all of our Twitter and Instagram. He takes control of that. Our logos are being done by the Metal Mafia. He does really good work. As always, our music is by Fuglies88. He really good. And we have a staff writer who is does our blogs and stuff. Archimedes.
That's amazing.
We just show up to the photo shoots.
Well,
Like we were struggling to figure out how we were going to do all this stuff, and then we looked to the community and found out that we have a lot of community members with a lot of really good skills, and they are way better at it than us.
Oh yeah.
I hear that. Well, I mean, where are you guys individually? People need to follow you.
Go to the website, and that stuff is all there. That's why I say it.
What a cop out, this guy.
It's so easy.
You go to the website, and then there's a list of all of our shit.
We have a podcast with a website.
Last I checked.
We have community members that do stuff for us.
I know, right? So if you like what you heard, let us know.
God, you just wind him up. And you wind him up and he goes.
Whew, God, I'd love to be wound up.
But Fudd, I want to say thanks, man, for letting us come on to your show. I really appreciate it. I had a really great time tonight, and I've been listening. I have not listened to you for a while because I got away from Destiny, and I swear to God, I've started listening to you because I don't give a shit about Destiny, but I sure do like your podcast, buddy.
That's fine because we haven't talked about Destiny in a long time.
That's my favorite part.
No, you haven't.
Yes.
No, you haven't. It's great. I love your show, buddy.
Well, thank you. It was really fun having you guys here.
Yes, it was.
And I haven't been able to just talk to Errick yet, so that's really why I did it.
No, yeah.
Understandable.
Yeah, seriously.
If you become a patron, you get to see his abs.
Why isn't that in your plug at the end of your show? You have so many
It's on
pages.
Outplayd.com.
Yeah.
Outplayd doesn't have an E.
No.
Clearly, you have not been to the website.
No.
I don't know what the internet is, so I don't. Gunbait.
Hey,
God, you're beautiful. If I was there right now, I would lick your face. But I'm not. So, where could people find
you
me?
had your opportunity in Florida, sir, a few months ago.
Didn't I? I think I did lick it. Didn't I lick your face?
No, you didn't lick it.
I just touched your ass. That's it, right?
That's all you did. Yeah.
No, I swear we did more than that.
Can't we? Man, I got to clip that. I think I did lick it. Yeah.
Well, you just asked for plugs.
Sorry, I got you distracted with licking.
Yes, you did.
What do they do if they like what they heard?
They need to know.
You can find me at twitter.com/gunbait101. I am also on Twitch at twitch.tv/gunbait101. And also, just another big thing, as you guys may know, I am putting together this podcast into YouTube form, if you will. I'm taking the clips and editing them slightly and make them into a YouTube friendly version. So if you guys could be so kind, we have a little subscribe button at the top of our page. We're trying to get that URL to where we can directly link back to our YouTube page. If you guys can go ahead and just give that a quick click on that subscribe button, Now I know why all YouTubers say smash that subscribe.
Yeah, because it
so
feels
easier
weird
to say that.
Yeah,
but I will not say that. Damn it. But if you guys could, you'd be a great help to us and seeing that get up in subscriptions, and we can actually link to our YouTube channel a little bit better. So we're trying to make that a little bit better known presence. So any help you guys can offer, I appreciate. We
Absolutely.
appreciate.
And you're doing a killer job on the YouTube there, brother.
Thank you.
It looks amazing. Before we get out of here, so there's another thing we need to do. So on the show last week, we threw in a question of the week at the very end, and then nothing happened with it because, well, I suck, is basically the premise of that. So we're going to do a new one this week. And what is question of the week? You may be asking yourself. Well, I'm not worked up enough for it. Here's a fucking soundbite.
We'll be asking the questions, old man.
Gunbait. What's our question of the week, man?
Oh gosh, that's why I sent it to you. Damn it! But
I
I'll
really
read it
wanted
anyways.
to hear you say it.
Okay.
So in
I
the
was really
Discord,
hoping-
in our Discord, which I will tell you how to get into in a little bit, there's a channel called Question of the Week. We will ask you the question, and you go in there into the Discord, answer the question, and in the following podcast, we will then read off all the answers. It's been really fun. And very dirty. I love it.
Well, this question is about to get a little bit dirtier because
Let's go.
My question for this week will be: if you could Voltron with anybody, who in the gaming community would make up your arms and legs? And I'm going to include my notes here to preface with the question. These people are mounted by the butt. Literally, you wear them as shoes and gloves.
Mm-hmm. That's Voltron.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They
looked confused. You know, I just want to. You never done that? It's a freeing experience. Really, you think a gaming community is really close. Boy. Tell you
You're
what.
about to get closer.
There we go. Head on over into the Discord. Question of the week. God, this is going to be good. I told you guys it wouldn't take long for us to just blatantly ask a sex question. So,
No, this is not a sex question.
This
is who
becoming
you would rule
one.
the world with.
This is
I'm gonna
definitely
wear you
becoming.
like slippers, boy.
Exactly. You know exactly where this is going. All right. Well, thank you all for joining us for episode 82 of Just Some Guardians. When we do the show, we are live. That's twitch.tv/JustSomeGuardians, Thursday nights, starting about 11:30 p.m. Eastern Time. Once again, that's when we go live. The show usually doesn't start for like 20 more minutes because we just bullshit. So enjoy that. You can find us on Twitter at JSGCast. Link to the Twitter is a way to get into the Discord where you can then answer the question of the week. Hey. We're on Podbean, iTunes, Spotify, your neighbor's front yard. Like, just look around. We're there. Once again on YouTube, youtube.com/CWX = +246 RFG poop emoji. So go ahead, head over there, hit that subscribe button. As for myself, I'm ElmmerFudd. You can find me on Twitter and Twitch and YouTube at ElmmerFudd Games. WMWD. Gunbait.
Yes.
Take us out.
Join us. Okay. Join us next week for on Just Some Guardians for utter chaos and mutual incompetency. Question mark.
Mutual chaos and utter competency. We're out. Ah!
It's been a while since I've done that.
It's been a while. There we go, guys. You survived
Thank you guys so
the
much.
show.
Thank you.
No, honestly, thank you guys. That was a lot of fun.
It was.
Yeah.
Agreed.
I was. Great time, dude. Now we're famous now.
Well,
You just went live to tens of people.
yeah.